Hello and a very good evening. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. This is the news tonight. I'm Frank Razan Pereira, and Rajya Sabha TV would like to make an appeal to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Remember to wear a face mask and wash your hands and face regularly, and also maintain physical distancing whenever you step outside. These simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. And now the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi praises security forces for foiling terrorist attempt to disrupt district elections in Jammu and Kashmir. Reviews security in the state with Home Minister and National Security Advisor. Bhutan's needs are the highest priority for India, says Prime Minister Modi at the launch of Phase 2 of the RuPay Card project. Bhutanese Prime Minister Lotay Tshering compliments India on the way it has dealt with the COVID pandemic. Central teams reach Haryana, Rajasthan, Gujarat and Manipur to review the pandemic situation. Ahmedabad imposes curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. in view of rising cases. National capital starts a door-to-door survey. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu emphasizes the need to balance development and environment, says climate change strategies should focus on children's rights as well. Chhath festival celebrated with reverence and devotion. President, Vice President and Prime Minister expressed best wishes to the people on the occasion. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a high-level review meeting on Friday in the wake of the Nagrota encounter. Home Minister Amit Shah, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Foreign Secretary and top intelligence and security officials attended the meeting. Prime Minister Modi praised the security forces for neutralizing 4 terrorists belonging to Pakistan-based terrorist organization Jaish-e-Mohammed ahead of the local body elections in Jammu and Kashmir. He said that our security has once again displayed utmost bravery and professionalism. He said that presence of large cache of weapons and explosives with them indicated that their efforts to wreak major havoc and destruction have once again been thwarted. Well, 4 Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists were killed in a 3-hour-long gun battle with security forces on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway near Nagrota on Thursday, after a truck carrying the terrorists was intercepted. 2 policemen were also injured in the gun battle. Jammu's Inspector General of Police, Mukesh Singh, had said after the encounter that the terrorists had come to execute a big plan which has now been foiled.
देखिए, जो हथियार और असला एमिनिशन जो बरामद हुआ है, ये पिछले कुछ सालों की हिस्ट्री में सबसे बड़ी खेप है। आप ये मान के चल लें कि हर आतंकवादी के पास 3 बड़े हथियार और 1 छोटा हथियार था, जो कि अपने आप में आज तक सबसे पहला ऐसा वाकया है जिसमें कि इतनी बड़ी मात्रा में हथियार बरामद हुए। ऐसा लगता है कि इनके मंसूबे काफी बड़े थे, जिनको विफल कर दिया गया है।
Well, Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has assured political parties of smooth campaign for the upcoming local body elections. Responding to a letter by CPIM leader Mohammad Yusuf Tarigami, Sinha said that he has taken note of the concerns and issued necessary instructions. Meanwhile, Jammu IG Mukesh Singh has said that elaborate security arrangements are in place for smooth conduct of the DDC polls. The election to 20 district development councils will be held in 8 phases. The first phase will be held on the 28th of November and the last phase on the 19th of December. Counting of votes will take place on 22nd December.
DDC इलेक्शन के मुतल्लक हमारी डिप्लॉयमेंट और फोर्सेस की डिप्लॉयमेंट, जिसमें सीआरपीएफ हमारे साथ कंधा से कंधा मिला के चल रही है, काफ़ी पुख्ता है जम्मू प्रांत में। और हम ये इंश्योर करेंगे कि किसी भी अप्रिय घटना को अंजाम ना दे पाए आतंकवादी।
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bhutanese counterpart Lote Sering jointly launched Phase 2 of the e-Rupee card on Friday. Well, both leaders had launched Phase 1 during Prime Minister Modi's state visit to Bhutan last August. The Phase 2 launch is expected to make tourism, shopping and other transactions easier for tourists visiting India from Bhutan. Here's a detailed report. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday launched Phase 2 of the Rupee card in Bhutan with his counterpart Lote Sering. Prime Minister Modi said Rupee cards issued by the Bhutan National Bank can be used at 1 lakh ATMs and 20 lakh point of sale terminals. He expressed happiness that Bhutan has already had 11,000 successful Rupee transactions so far. The Prime Minister said had COVID not happened, this number would have been much higher.
आज हम इस महत्वाकांक्षी परियोजना का दूसरा चरण शुरू कर रहे हैं और इसके साथ हम रुपे नेटवर्क में भूटान का एक फुल पार्टनर के तौर पर स्वागत करते हैं। आज के बाद भूटान नेशनल बैंक द्वारा जारी किए गए रुपे कार्ड्स के कार्ड धारक भारत में 1 लाख से अधिक एटीएम और 20 लाख से अधिक पॉइंट्स ऑफ सेल टर्मिनल की सुविधा उपयोग कर पाएंगे। मुझे विश्वास है कि इससे भूटान के यात्रियों को भारत में शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, तीर्थयात्रा या फिर पर्यटन में बहुत सहूलियत रहेगी।
The Prime Minister also spoke about the wide-ranging bilateral cooperation in various fields, including ISRO's preparations to launch Bhutanese satellites. 4 space engineers from Bhutan are slated to come to India in December for this.
भारत ने हाल ही में अपने अंतरिक्ष क्षेत्र को प्राइवेट एंटरप्राइज के लिए खोला है, बहुत बड़ा रिफॉर्म किया है। इससे कैपेसिटी, इनोवेशन और स्किल्स को बढ़ावा मिलेगा। मुझे इस बात की विशेष खुशी है कि अगले साल इसरो द्वारा भूटान की सैटेलाइट को अंतरिक्ष भेजने के लिए काम तेजी से चल रहा है। इसके लिए भूटान के 4 होनहार युवा स्पेस इंजीनियर्स दिसंबर में इसरो जाएंगे। मैं इन चारों नौजवानों को अनेक अनेक शुभकामनाएं भी देता हूं।
Prime Minister Modi said India stands with Bhutan in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. He asserted that Bhutan's needs will always be top priority for India, while adding that the launch of Phase 2 of the Rupee card will further boost relations between the two countries.
मैं आपको विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूं कि इस कठिन समय में हम भूटान के साथ खड़े हैं और आपकी आवश्यकताएं हमारे लिए सदैव उच्चतम प्राथमिकता रहेगी।
Bhutanese Prime Minister Lote Sering praised Prime Minister Modi's leadership in tackling the pandemic, while thanking him for assuring that India will make the vaccine available to Bhutan.
I'm happy to note that with these arrangements, it will benefit the peoples of our two countries. Together, we are leveraging digital technologies to enhance financial services in our region.
Implementation of Phase 1 of Rupee cards in Bhutan has allowed Indian investors to access ATMs and point-of-sale terminals across Bhutan. Phase 2 will allow Bhutanese cardholders to access the Rupee network in India. Rupee card is an Indian debit and credit card payment network that is accepted at ATMs, POS devices and e-commerce websites. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television. Well, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman participated in the G20 Finance Ministers virtual meeting on Friday. In the meeting, the Finance Minister said that affordability and accessibility of vaccines for all is a crucial step towards ending the COVID-19 pandemic. Sitharaman highlighted the G20 action plan as the mainstay of her economic response and said that it is not only coordinates our immediate response, but also guides the long-term recovery efforts. He congratulated the Saudi Arabian presidency for their tireless efforts and exceptional leadership to steer the G20 agenda in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, it's time now for the COVID-19 situation in the country, where India's active cases declined to 4.43 lakh on Friday, making it 4.93% of the country's total positive cases. India reported 45,882 new COVID-19 infections and 584 deaths in the last 24 hours. Total recoveries have crossed 84.28 lakh, taking the recovery rate to 93.6%. Total cases have crossed 90 lakhs, including deaths 1,32,162. The COVID-19 case fatality rate has declined to 1.46%. According to the ICMR, a cumulative total of 12.95 crore samples have been tested so far, with 10.83 lakh samples being tested on Thursday. Well, Delhi, Kerala, Maharashtra, West Bengal and Rajasthan are the 5 states that reported the highest number of cases in the last 24 hours. BMC in Mumbai on Friday announced closure of schools till December 31st due to rising cases. The Haryana government also ordered the closure of all schools in the state until November 30th. The move came days after over 150 students tested positive for coronavirus. A night curfew will be imposed in Ahmedabad city of Gujarat from Friday to control the spread of coronavirus. The curfew will be in force between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. Well, Haryana Health Minister Anil Vij was administered the first trial dose of Bharat Biotech's COVID-19 vaccine, Covaxin, on Friday. The 67-year-old senior BJP leader was administered the dose under the supervision of a team of doctors and the health department. Vij had volunteered to be the first trial participant for the third phase trial, which kicked off in the state on Friday. Earlier this week, Bharat Biotech announced commencement of phase 3 trials of Covaxin involving 26,000 volunteers across India. The trials, which are the largest clinical trial conducted for a COVID-19 vaccine in India, are being conducted in partnership with the Indian Council of Medical Research. Covaxin has been evaluated in about 1,000 subjects in phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials with promising safety and immunogenicity data. Meanwhile, Adar Poonawalla, CEO of the world's largest vaccine maker Serum Institute of India, on Thursday said that the Oxford coronavirus vaccine Covishield should be available for the general public by April 2021. He informed that the healthcare workers and elderly people will have early access to the vaccine by February 2021, and by 2024 every Indian will get vaccinated. According to Poonawalla, the vaccine will be priced at a maximum of 1,000 rupees for 2 necessary doses for the public, depending on the final trial results and regulatory approvals. Covishield is being developed at the Oxford University in the United Kingdom and licensed by international biopharma company AstraZeneca. Poonawalla's Serum Institute of India has partnered with AstraZeneca to produce at least 1 billion doses of the vaccine. Well, it's time for a break on this newscast, but stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight on Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Frank Razan Pereira, where Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Friday called for striking the necessary balance between development and environment. He was addressing a webinar, Climate Parliament with Children, organized by the Parliamentarians Group of Children on the occasion of World Children's Day. Speaking at the event, the Vice President called for including a child-centric approach in our response to climate change. He wanted child rights to be interwoven into climate change strategies, policies, and planning documents.
As a developing nation, we have to juggle with multiple priorities, including sustained economic growth for millions of our people, for ensuring we reduce air pollution and protect the people, especially the most vulnerable, from negative impact of climate change. We have to strike the necessary balance. We have to preserve scarce resource and care for the generations to come.
Recognizing that the children of today are far better informed than previous generations, he called for involving them in the conversation around climate change.
I think the children of today have a far greater access to information than we were as children. The children of today have a sense of urgency and ownership that I have never seen in our previous generations. Through support systems like parents, peers, and their schools, children today are far more involved in the conservation around climate change. The conversation that's going on across will help us. This is a very positive development. The need of the hour is to raise awareness on the important issue of climate change, its impacts, and mitigation measures in schools and grassroots level to make our children change agents and transformational leaders of the future.
Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani also addressed the event.
While India launched an aggressive campaign to clean our rivers under the Namami Gange project or the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which not only provided dignity to women and especially young girls, but also assured sanitation facilities by building over 110 million toilets for the economically challenged. It is also the success of programs like Ujjwala Yojana, which provide access to clean cooking fuel to 80 million poor women in our country. These have become beacons not only of gender justice, but have also established a pathway for environmentally conscious behavior.
Well, the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen completed 4 years on Friday. The Rural Housing Scheme PMAYG was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on November 20th, 2016. To commemorate the launch of the program, which aims to provide housing for all by 2022, it was decided to celebrate November 20th as every year as Awas Divas. Under PMAYG, the government aims to provide assistance for construction of 2 crore 95 lakh Pakka houses for eligible rural households by March 2022 in phases. As on date, a total of 1.75 crore houses have been sanctioned and 1.25 crore houses have been completed against the allocated cumulative target of around 2.26 crore houses. On the occasion, Rural Development Minister Narendra Singh Tomar congratulated the states and union territories for their contribution towards the noble goal of housing for all by providing houses to rural households. Well, the winter session of the Odisha Assembly commenced on Friday amidst strict adherence to the COVID-19 guidelines. The session began with obituary references to former members and frontline workers who lost their lives fighting the pandemic. In the second half, Odisha Finance Minister Niranjan Pujari presented the first supplementary statement of expenditure of 11,200 crore rupees for the 2021 fiscal. Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik joined the proceedings through video conference from his residence. During the winter session, the Odisha Assembly is functioning for 4.5 hours in 2 shifts. There is no question hour during the session. Sitting arrangements for the MLAs has been made to ensure social distancing. Well, moving on to some other news now. The second phase of the Malabar Naval Exercise 2020 concluded on Friday. MiG-29 KS of the Indian Navy and F-18s of the US Navy carried out simulated attacks on the surface force during multilateral naval exercises in the Arabian Sea and the Indian Ocean. The breathtaking maneuvers of the MiG-29s witnessed takeoffs from the Indian Navy's aircraft carrier INS Vikramaditya. The second part of the Malabar naval exercise began on Tuesday in the northern Arabian Sea. Indian Navy's carrier INS Vikramaditya, US Navy's aircraft carrier USS Nimitz and other Indian, US, Australian, and Japanese warships were part of the war games. Well, Chhath Puja is being celebrated in different parts of the country with traditional fervor and religious devotion. On the third day of Chhath Puja on Friday, devotees made offerings known as Sandhya Aragya to the setting sun. The 4-day celebrations will culminate on Saturday morning with the Prata Aragya to the rising sun. The festival began on Wednesday. President Ramnath Kovind greeted the people on the occasion. In a Twitter message, the President asked people to resolve to preserve nature and environment and celebrate the festival keeping in mind the spread of COVID-19. Meanwhile, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu also greeted the people on the occasion and said that may this festival remove all obstacles and bring happiness, good health and prosperity in our lives. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also greeted the people on Chhath Puja. In a Twitter message, he wished happiness and prosperity for all. Well, today is World Children's Day. The day is celebrated on the 20th of November each year to promote international togetherness, awareness among children worldwide and improving children's welfare. On the occasion, the Rashtrapati Bhavan, India Gate and other monuments across India were lit up in blue under the Go Blue campaign in solidarity with child rights and the impact of COVID-19 on children's lives. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this newscast, but we would like to make an appeal to all our viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic before we go. Remember to wear face masks and wash your hands and face regularly, and also maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember that these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic.